All right, Shalom. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, and it's sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing his truth and sincerity. And I want to go a little into this whole Black Lives Matter thing, is because now people are starting to see that it's not what these people thought it would be, and quite a few people have been catching on to it. So this article is about the laws of Black Lives Matter. So it says the image of Derek Chauvin pressing his knee to George Floyd's neck was horrific. But when the brutal act resulted in Floyd's death, it became a gift from heaven for Black Lives Matter. The radical protest movement that adopted the slogan the slogan of the Black Lives Matter was launched in 2012 after the shooting death of Trayvon Martin by George Zimmerman. Although there was no evidence to show that Zimmerman acted in anything other than self-defense. The shooting of Michael Brown by policemen in Missouri in 2014 led to cries of "hands up, don't shoot." The facts proved this to be a lie, but Black Lives Matter had found its true motivator. The killing of blacks by racist police. BLM organized protests in cities and universities and university campus around the country, even though BLM charged of systemic uh, racism was not supported by data on police killings of black. And this is going to be, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's just a list of things they like these people like to come up with. And I'm gonna explain going further in. It says in Staten Island later that year, Eric Garner died after a police chokehold. The officer was accused of murder, but was not prosecuted. And a new slogan was born: "I can't breathe." It would resonate once again in Minneapolis. In the meantime, protests grew louder and more violent. In December 2014, two officers were assassinated in Brooklyn in a revenge killing for Eric Garner's death. BLM led more protests when Freddie Gray died in police custody in 2016. It didn't matter that the three officers involved were found not guilty. The movement had a new life, and protests grew more violent yet. Five officers yet were assassinated in Dallas, three more in Baton Rouge, and then here's the kicker right here. This is the main part I want to get to. It says COVID-19 took center stage in the news of in 2020 until May 25th, when the world saw an 8-minute video of George Floyd losing his life under the brutal knee of Derek Chauvin. And since then, we have been witnesses to the worst violence and destruction in our country's history in response. Lost among the impassioned eulogies for George Floyd was the hushed truth about what led to his death. One immense painting of Floyd shows him wearing the wings of an angel, but he was no angel. George Floyd had a history of criminal trespassing and theft with a firearm. He was jailed multiple times, sentenced to 5 years in prison for aggravated robbery. And I'm gonna stop right there for the moment, because as I was reading this list, you start to notice that it's only a particular people that BLM decides to rise up for. considering that there are more deaths from our own people than it is from police. And then these are only people that's been caught on camera killing, as far as police killing Jake. They ain't marching about the other times where it's ended up on news where police was already killing Jake beforehand. So it's a pick and choose selection thing with these people, which goes to show you they're not about Black Lives Matter. Because if that was the case, they would be about all the times the police was killing Jake, and it would be all about the times Jake is killing Jake. But that shows you the hypocrisy of our people, that this is what they do. They'll come up with and as we saw twice in this article, they like to come up with slogans. I can't breathe. Get your foot off my neck. What is up with these slogans that like hands up, don't shoot? You come up with slogans that don't mean anything. So I'm gonna jump right into the first scripture before I get a little bit into the rest of this. Let's start with Psalms 82:5. It says, "They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course." So, and that's our people. They don't understand. They refuse to understand. They want to be stuck. They want to be stuck here. They want to keep doing the wickedness they're doing, and yet they over here questioning, why can't we all get along? Why does it have to be racism? Why does it got to be this, and that? And yet they fail to understand that your so-called best friend is your worst enemy. And this is what they always like to neglect. This is what they always like to do. And we bring it out. We bring out plenty of times that why they're your worst enemy. But Jake, they want to ignore it, as they always do. We're more of a worst enemy to our people than Esau is, than he is. Jake is their worst enemy of Jake, not E. No, they want to be up on E's side. Oh, that's probably why they end up killing each other, so they could get more approval for E. You got so much self hatred for each other. They ain't concerned about much of what E does, even though some of them like to talk all this good stuff about talking shit about him, but they still following after him. So let me get this one right here. It says, this is Proverbs 29:25. It says, "The fear of man bringeth a snare." And this is exactly our people, because, for instance, Jake gets pulled over by the cops. He's already angry and upset because he think he was gonna get away with speeding. Police comes out, asks for the license and registrations. Then the Jake all of a sudden has a fit. Don't want to do what he don't want to comply with your adversary, because this is Jake fails to understand that he wields the gun, not you. And if you do have a gun on you, you ain't gonna use it on the police. At least not on a high scale. But when the centurion pulls up, he asks for your stuff, and you decide to have a hissy fit. You think he wouldn't probably shoot you? He has the power that you can't attain, and it's not going to be any skin off of anybody else's back. The police, the centurion is doing what he wants him to do. But that's why it says agree with our adversary quickly, because he holds the sword. But a lot of you, Jake, don't want to do that, and then you're already out here as the one for George Floyd, making fake checks. He was already a criminal, and it even showed up in his history. They tell you it's not like this. Whoever made this post was making it up. It's already been told on news. So it's nothing new. Jake wants to defend someone that is just as wicked as they are. The guy has a record of being in jail, having a weapon on him, and then he dies from the police that he didn't want to abide by. And on top of that, I saw another video, just to keep it real brief, another video where a Jake, was walking around with a knife. Walking around with a knife, even walking up to people with it. That people was even so scared that they had to walk away. In the middle of a neighborhood. And who was the one calling police? More Jake. The Centurion pulls up. Jake didn't want to put down the knife. They shot him to death. And then all of a sudden Jake now has a problem with it. But you the one who called the Centurion. This is the hypocrisy of our people. This is why Romans 12:2 says, "Be not conformed to this world," because you're gonna end up just like acting like Jake. They want to talk all this stuff. Oh, we hate the police. We hate the police, but you don't hate all the rest of the devils that set them up. I don't understand how that works. You have devils that set them up. This is his infrastructure. You ain't worried about what all the other devils that's above him do, but the police does it because what, he's doing his job. If he feels threatened, he's going to use that weapon, and he can make up any excuse to say he did. I'm gonna go back to the little bit of the article that's left. At least I think there's more in it, but I ain't gonna go into the whole thing. It says, let's see. On the day Floyd died, he was arrested for passing a counterfeit bill. Handcuffed and high on fentanyl and meth, he resisted arrest for 3 minutes before being forced to the ground by officers. None of this was on the 8-minute video that went viral. "No justice, no peace," cried the mob. Derek Chauvin was arrested, charged with murder, and will likely spend most of the rest of his life in prison, which more likely he won't. But that was not enough for Black Lives Matter. It now called for defunding the police, right, which was the next big thing for these people. And these people don't understand, if you defund the police, police can quit, and you don't have anybody defending or protecting, quote unquote, protecting you from anything. So that leaves trouble for even the black woman who likes to call the Centurion on Jake, because then they ain't gonna be able to do it. It says, let's see. Actually, I think that's all I wanted to go into. Actually, I could jump down a little bit. It says, actually, yeah, this is yeah, here we go. It says, to ensure that its objectives were met, BLM intimidated politicians, academics, corporations, and Hollywood elites to bow abjectly in obeisance to BLM's truth, Nazi policy, Congress, so okay, can't even say the words right. Congressional Democrats donned African garb and knelt in submission. And that's pretty much all I want to go into that. But that's all in, from the time that happened, all I kept seeing from even Netflix or YouTube videos or certain other things. BLM this, BLM that, BLM this. You know that's set up by E, because he has his hand into everything. He controls that. Why else would that become such a big thing if BLM wasn't such a big thing back in 2012? It takes a couple of years for these people, for these groups to spark up all of a sudden. Meanwhile, we're out there every week. I'm not talking about just the camp I'm in, but I'm talking about various other camps. Great Mill. So we're out there every week saying we've been saying this, but we already been up in an uproar. But these people, these other groups that's only come out every couple years is now so-called claiming they won, which I don't know what the hell they won, but it hasn't been anything. They thinking they changed history, which it hasn't changed shit. But from people's sad point of view, the only thing it changes make Jake look like monkeys, because they end up destroying. I mean, so be it. Just keep destroying the society. It's all prophecy. That's all it is prophecy. I'm gonna get this definition real quick. This is the definition of black in the Merriam-Webster. It says of the color black, or of or relating to any various population groups having dark pigmentation of the skin, of or relating to African American people or their culture. It says dressed in black, dirty, soiled, characterized by the absence of light, reflecting or transmitting little or no light. So it even says what is it? Let's see. That was one I saw that went into it. Thoroughly sinister or evil, wicked. And this is what black people are. It says connected with or invoking the supernatural and especially the devil. Very sad, gloomy, marked for occurrence of disaster. And that's exactly what it is with our people. They're a disaster. They're void of light. They're nothing but walking death zombies. Because this is what you get with our people. This is why they can't understand, is because this is what, and that's why Esau puts that whole I forgot what's it called, but labels. I'm gonna just call it the labels. That's why Esau put these labels on us, saying it went from Negro or nigger to Negro to African American, Afro American, to black people. It's spot on with Jake. They are black people because they are just a walking disaster. So if Jake want to call yourself black, then go full on ahead, because you're just proving Esau right. This is why you'll gravitate towards him, because you know you're a walking disaster. So I'm gonna get this final scripture right here. This is Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And how would you look at Jake in a nutshell? That companion of fools. Hell, I was a companion of a fool before I came into this truth. And the Lord wouldn't that I stay spiritual and walking with wise men, because it's a sickening thing just to even fall back into the world. But that's what our people are. They're a companion of fools that shall be destroyed, especially when the missiles hit. But even going back before that happens, you have a lot of Jake dying, and rightfully so, because all the wicked things that's going on that they like to do, adultery, eating crabs, all the abominable things, all the sick things they want to do. This is the only place in the world that you can do anything and everything, or at least almost everything and everything. Because Jake can't overtake E's power. That's the Lord that has to do that. So that's pretty much all I wanted to go into, because this is what our people like to look up to. They like to look up to these so-called black leaders that lead them deeper and deeper into a ditch. And then when they figured out they dug too deep, they get mad and upset of, oh, why can't I find this answer to this and to that? This is just like, we've been telling you, but it's only of the Lord to wake up who He wants. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, shalom.